Done. There's my window. Yeah. Okay. So again, you get some points from the ground. This is the classic. Is you've got he's leaning on you. So it's the simple drop. We all know this one. So, but you must find that in anywhere during my punch. So if we get to this point, punch again. Some point here, we're going to come into this point, substantial to insubstantial. And they go down. So what you've got to get in your mind is train slow, and as you grip, when they come, think about that drop there. So it's again, it's like we come in here, it's that drop, boom, there, boom, chush. Grip around me, Kim. So you get into some strong person. Let yourself drop on it. They then use you as a substantial element, just drop, boom, in this fence. Now one more time, Kev. Grab, right there. That's it, he's pulling me in, yeah? I need to let him grab, boom, 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 boom. Yeah? So what you've got to do is constantly remember that if you get to a point where you feel the slightest of lean, just come on, just that, drop. You only need to drop the slightest centimetre, opens up a million points. Yeah? That way. The concept of pushing away the earth is quite a strange one. People think they get strength from building it up and putting pressure in, but what you really need is to pull pressure from underneath upwards. So what happens is you've got to change. It's a mental concept. It's not really physical, it's mental. You've got to change from trying to create power inside your gait and your swing to pulling upwards and out. So what you have to do is imagine there's a weight tied to your back swinging, and that you're down, your toes are over your knees, and you stand like this. Now what you've got to do is use your heels to push off the earth. You push the earth down and it'll push you back. So you get sort of that creation. So from nothing, from just touching to this, to that way, you get, just drop 1 minute. So from here, I need to find some strength. Now this is a hard concept to teach on video because I'm not using my strength, I'm using this drop through my heel, this push. Yep, that strength comes from there. So if you just do this, Mike, tense up, get ready. Yep, so from here I've dropped, yeah, in that sense. Come again. So I've got to drop here, Nick. So as that comes, walk at me, Nick. As that comes, it's okay. It's that strength. You okay?
Yeah.
You do that again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. What you've got to do is you're not bulldog. If I try and punch you now, yeah, Nick. So you ready? Walk at me. Yeah. This is what I'm going to do. What I've got to do is I've got to pull this strength from the earth. And I'm going to pull it up. Into it goes. Okay. We'll go through that later on as well in the DVD. Chapter 28, effortless power. Now this sounds a bit strange in that, you've got no effort to get power. But what it is most people use their muscles to try and create a powerful attack, when this is not true. This carries on from the last principle. But what we actually do is, as we carry on with the last principle where we push away the earth, we've got to do is learn to walk in that form. Now, you've got to relax everything in your limbs. You've got to have a relaxed limb. Now you have to drop all your joints down. That's where they go. Now you've got to learn to walk, to push off from the hips. Most people walk from their upper torso and they give you strength this way. What you must do is forget that, drop the arms, they're useless, drop down, and then just relax. And you've got to learn to walk in this fashion. So Kev, if you grab, if I try and go strong, top heavy, and I'll stress this, yeah, it's not going to work. When I drop, I get this here, and then I just power it down, okay? Mike, listen, Nick, so the effortless power comes in all my strikes, yeah? Right, down, it's all coming from here. There's absolutely no power. So from here, there's no power coming from my hand. I literally am just dragging down. So strikes as well. Strikes as well. Locks from this point. But there's no strength involved. With my punches, I relax. Okay, this power comes from here. And I just relax. Yeah? This is where it all comes from. And what happens is, when you get somebody here, instead of like going to drag them, you relax, you shift and just, yeah, this way. So punch. Yeah. What I'm going to get is this effort of power here. You can literally pull someone over with nothing. And that's the way to go. But it's nothing to do with the strength. So we get inside something, and then what I do is just, that power comes from simply relaxing, Kevin, and then grab. So inside this, the effortless power comes, it's like, yeah? And all it is a basic movement of the free-flowing body of your skeletal system shifting. You come on. So, grab. Yep, as Nick moves, yeah? Move with us, Nick. As Nick moves, I just simply move and overextend his arm. Kevin. We grip this way, the power. Ooh. Michael. The power comes from nothing, just from dropping. Like that. Chapter 29, the still point. Now the concept of the still point is the position of the human body through the roll of their walk. It's the point when they're the most free-floating. This is the point when they can be manipulated the most with ease. Now I had one student who got this concept through watching someone walk. He watched a woman walk in high heels, and as she walked, he noticed that her hips swayed massively over a single point. Now this is where he noticed where to attack somebody. So if you walk slowly, Nick, you watch if the woman was walking in high heels and it was at every point there's a still point. So if you walk again, Nick, so one, there, that still point is going. Now the way I can explain the best is imagine if you're sat in a car and you're the car's going nowhere, it's stationary. And what you do is you turn the wheel, and it's really difficult to turn the wheel. So what you do then is you start to accelerate, and as you accelerate, you're going from the pitch into the roll. And as you're at top acceleration, you can move the steering wheel the littlest ease. Then you de-accelerate, which is your back to where you can't move the steering wheel at all. So if you take that concept, you should be able to understand it. Kevin? Now what we'll do is, Kev, can you punch really slow? Yeah, there. If you watch, so try and keep it halfway. There. This is where I can manipulate him. Because the still point is like a tide. The tide's out, it comes into its highest point and floats back out. So grab Kev. So he's now at low tide, go through. High tide, there, back out. So again, as you go stop halfway through, this is his high point. This is where he's floating on his hips. So go for it. There. This is the still point. Curve. Nick. Again, can you just do a punch, a stand punch? There. And again. There. That's the still point. If I try that, slow it right down. If I try that too early, nothing. If I try that too late, when it's hit yaw, nothing. Okay, so we've got the punch. If you find we're in yaw, it's moving nowhere. Just lift your leg up and go into like roll. So lift your leg off the floor. That's it. If this is his still point, go on, lift it up. This is how easy it is to manipulate. So I can literally, boom. So if you go to punch Nick, yeah, so there we go. And I can manipulate. Then what I do is that we move back through the movement, still point, there, boom. We go for another movement, there, still point here. There it is. Kevin? So what you've got to do is learn to inside of them fights, you've got to learn where the still point is. There. And it doesn't matter if they don't throw very much, it doesn't matter if they don't go in some dramatic roll, but all you've got to do is interrupt their pattern. So into that still point, boom, boom, that way. Nick, the mic. There, again, grip, Again, boom, boom, oh. There we go. It's the still point in the centre. Try and feel that rhythm, that beating rhythm. Number 30, energy strikes. Now, everybody understands that energy does exist and the reality of energy, and you're pushing energy intent into a punch or a strike. Now, when you're training, you've got to remember that people get used to this, and you can't be smashing energy into people all the time. And if you do, they know you're not going to hit them. So this works more in reality in the street because people have that natural fear that they're going to get hit. In training, you find that people know they're not going to get hit as much, so it doesn't quite work the same way. So just be aware of that concept. Now, energy strikes, what you have to do is you have to imagine the intent going into a certain person and the area. So if you go back, Kev, and what we're going to do is you've got to pick an area of attack. Now the area of attack to pick are the weak points, like the neck, here, the eyes, this type of thing. So if you go to front, Kev, there, it stops people because their body cannot accept the threat into these danger zones. So again, there, you're throwing out, if you want intent, you're throwing out energy, but what you're doing is you're throwing it into a point that they don't want to have come. So, there, it will stop someone. And Michael, walk straight at me, Mike. So, you get this then. Yeah? They don't want to walk into that. And it comes, you can do it for anything. Here, these areas, they're protected. Yeah? Right, they're protected. So, Nick, just come at me, walk at me, you get here. There. These points, yeah, they don't want it, because these students know I will give them a crack occasionally just to keep them on edge. So again at the neck, yeah, right, wonderful. You have to wait until they're in the still point. So we've already learned about the still point. So what you do is, if you walk through really slow, you can break it down to like really slow, yeah, there, we wait to the still point, bats, there, that's it. So slow it down even slower, give me just a massive slow, yeah. Bats, there, that point. If I do it when he's in yaw, bang, it's not going to go in. If I do it in pitch, like, he's a bit far away. So what happens is he comes in, like this. Again, Kevin, like this. The fear of the energy is going in. And just walk back. So you'll find that people come out, like this stop, it intense stops. Mike, let's get. What it gives you is windows. See, Mike stopped in this position here now. I can have this window and I can throw. That will give you, remember, these attacks are not meant to kill or these strange mystical things. It's meant to give you a window to work with. Once you've created that window, take it and lock, take it and smash or destroy. Chapter 31, pattern interruption. Now what happens is that when we say pattern, what we mean is people's walking gait, the pattern that they walk in. What you have to do is interrupt this pattern to take away the strength of their attack. So the simple things, how these work straight away, is this. See, it automatically, reflexes interrupt any patterns. So you automatically get in a situation it's like, oh sorry, you'll automatically shake your hand. Other such examples, very basic examples, like when you're stop! Natural response is just to stop, generally. When you're more of a combat sense, you've got this, it's just in the eye. If you literally take across their vision, their pattern will be interrupted. So, there. This stops in midway. Then the other one is just to play with the reflex areas here. So as he comes in, you just play in this point, and it confuses the subconscious mind because you're going to a reflex point and the mind goes, am I in danger? I better stop the attack and close up. So again, when we were talking before about energy strikes, all you're doing is interrupting the pattern. This isn't without putting energy in though, but it thinks something is going to happen. Again, like you can hit reflex points outside of the body, so go there, it thinks it's going to get damaged. So again, pattern interruption. Yeah, we can clap, things like that. Anything that interrupts the normal reality of what he perceives as a fight. So you're coming at me, it's like, stop! If somebody's a stranger to you and you shout stop and put your hand in front of their eyes, they're automatically going to stop. But it won't, once you continue to do these things, it'll lose its power and potency. So what you've got to do is work around the body, look at where the pattern and how to interrupt the pattern comes in, and use your initiative to go around that. Progressive point. What this means, we use manipulation of tissue and pressure points to keep somebody under our control. So you start by these points. Then what you do is you find the next point up to keep control. Now what you do is you replace this on with this, then you find another point, then you take this away until you get to where you want to go. So sometimes, some people are not so, they don't find this so painful, yeah? So what you need to find is once you get there, and you need to move around somebody, move these points progressively, yeah, until you find what you need to look for. Okay? Boom. And you go up. Nick. So, if we say, get someone on the floor, okay? What I need to do, say I've landed at this position, and Nick's about to get up, so get up, Nick. What I need to do is I need to, and come up. Now, you could say you could kick with this, but we've got to kick. So there's lots of what if questions, or what if you did that, what if you did that, but you work. What I do then is I climb up the body as best as I can. These points, if you can feel it, yeah? Then you can get his face there, John. Watch. Okay, so then what I do is I use different points, and I get up to where I need to get. Okay, you find a lot of people, you can progressively move up someone quite fast in the sense that you can get up there. His hand, and you just use your body weight as a point until you get to each point. So this is an issue, this is a threat. Go to touch me with that, Nick. Yeah? Yeah, there we go. And you find these points, and then you just move around his body as you need to move around and just get them in. And that's what that's to do, is to keep them under constant control. So if I start moving from here, he's got enough time to kick me. But if I've got this, and I find this point, I can move up his body and attack him in any fashion I want. Okay, you have here points all over. There's nerves that go underneath here, like that. And what we'll do is we can move up in that sense. So use your arms, Kev. Yeah, you up, then we move up, then we get to the points we need, and we cover these points until we're in these. Then we can move around, keeping hold of the point in this section, keeping all the points in the body, and then we can start to move, start to get points here, points there, all the way down. Use your pinches, get down. Still keep hold of every point in these sessions. There. Again, what we'll do is we'll go up, so using that, this goes in, then you can find one in here, then in here, then up to the masteroid here, and then you can control them completely. Chapter 33, balance. Now everybody thinks of balance in a sense of walking along beams and gymnast type of balance, but that's not what we mean here. So if you come on, when you're in a combat situation, you get 3 points of balance if there's 2 people. You get my balance, which is in the centre of my gravity, you get Nick's balance, and then you get the balance between the fight, and this is what we're both fighting over. We're both fighting over domination of balance. So we're both gripping and we're grabbing, and what I need to do is I'm trying to win his balance off him, he's trying to win my balance off me, and we're both trying to keep the balance of the fight. So what you need to do, is you need to affect balance in slight ways that will stop people. So all you need to do is change this centre of balance. So if you punch it, that is what you need. That change in balance, correct? That change over there. And it can be as light as anything, it can be really light. In the sense of this down, then this is the balance point here. So all you do is find every time it comes to a combat, is you need to find the balance. So his balance is here, we need to shift that balance over, then and shift. So the idea is that punch. I need to get rid of that balance. Balance, there we go. Okay, again, punch. Ooh, balance has gone, yeah? Ooh, gone. Balance. Then we went back to the balance point. Now all we're doing is every time you fight, instead of trying to crack him and try and move him, just feel for it, use sensitive to ends, and get rid of that balance point. There. Okay, Kevin? Balance points differ depending on the height. Now his balance point is much higher than mine, so it's easier to manipulate. He's got to find it more difficult to manipulate me. But what I've got to do is go with his energy. So you push, I've got to go and find the difference of that balance. Here, push, I've got to go and find the difference of that balance. Here, there. Again, well, when he's on the floor, the balance is gone. So, grab. So they've got the bear hug. I've got to take his balance from him. 1, 2. Yeah. Again, you just got to find where that balance is. So as he grips there, his balance, my balance, the centre of the fight. What I do is I take control of that balance. There, and it's the slightest of movements. It's the slightest of movements. He's gripping, let him grip and you push. Yeah, get him, let him have that push. Because it's only the slightest of movement balance that will win a fight for you. So just keep that in mind when you're actually in combat. Okay, chapter 34. I'm going to show you how to use your eyes in a correct fashion now. So what happens is, I've told you to always look over people's shoulders in peripheral vision, but there's one time when you should look directly into somebody's eyes. And can we have Mike? And what this happens is, midway through an attack, you're not looking at them, they've got the fear in them that they're going to get struck. So what you would do is you would attack them with your eyes instead, directly at them and try and stop their movement. Okay, somebody's going to come at you this time, and what we're going to do is interrupt their pattern by a direct stare at them during their still point. So in giving them the fear that they're going to get hit, but in reality what happens is it opens windows for you to use. So when you're ready, Mike. So we're looking over the shoulder. You can stop there actually. You're looking over the shoulder, and you're not touch, but when the minute, you've got to imagine you've got a beak on site and you're going to peck it right through their face. So come and attack, Mike. You got that? Yep, this is where you need to be. It's this initial shock where they're not used to you looking at them, and you suddenly bang, and you throw that energy in and it'll change, and these are the gates that you find later on. So especially if you're in a combat situation, they think they're going to get hurt. So you come off. It's that you've got. So in the middle, if you just come away, you've got a man who's going to attack you. He comes in. It's like this. This stops him dead in this point. Come from over there. Okay. Right. This will stop him in them tracks. So then it will give you a window. It's that sudden burst of energy and the change from not looking at him to looking into his eyes that makes the body override his mind and his mental state and say, no, stop. So come in, it's like this, the power, you've got to push in through the beak, you've got to create from these, find something, and then throw. Chapter 35, circular motion. Alright then, can we have somebody up here? What we get, in martial arts, you constantly get a linear format going on. So, traditional martial arts, come here. Sorry Mike. Traditional martial arts can give me a linear form. So we get linear form, and they attack in a linear form, you're told to block in a linear form. Okay, and you're meant to move in this. Now that's a very basic concept, and it is good for learning when you're young. What you've got to do now is you've got to realise circular motion comes. So instead of thinking, I'm going to move this way, I'm going to move off, what we need to do is start thinking in circles. So this comes in a circle and I move in a circle. This creates a circle with him, and then we together move in a circle to create a 3D movement. So again, no matter what you get a grab. Don't think 1, 2. What you've got to do is you've got to create that into circular motion. There. Now from here, we can go, you can push down and then create to another circular motion, which is over this way. Boom, dunk, dunk. What happens now, we have a punch, so as the punch comes in, you've got to make that a circle, and the next punch, that circle's over, and then again, you can bring them over. So what you've got to do is change from a linear pattern into, so go for a punch, change into a circle in this sense. Another punch comes in, we've got to circle it down, and then again, classic here, we turn into another circle, in that sense. Mike? It's circles come in everything, so grab from behind, yeah, we're going to move on a circular motion down. This gives us the wood pose in this essence. From a grab from the side, yeah, what you've got to do is this circular motion gives you power. So from here, boom, power in this way, boom. And you'll find that if you look at that, it's full of circular, there's no linear effort in it. So what we're doing is a shift into a circle. Okay, it's quite simple, Nick. Grab, yeah, boom, circle in. Yeah? Circle in. Yeah, circle. Alright, so everything you do, try and keep away from that linear element and try and make it more circular in action. And you'll find that their bodies follow your circular pattern and end up really structurally out of balance. Okay, now we have reflex points. We all know the classic doctor scenario where we hammer on the bottom of the knee and the leg kicks out. Well, in reality, they do work. So what you have is you have areas, like we've said before in the DVD, you have areas in the body that really don't like being touched. And there's reflex points in these. We know the knees ones. But what you've got inside of here, you've got some reflex points. So grab and there. You'll see that as you roll in, that it reflexes out. There. And you cannot, and then what you do is you drop them in. So, and this is what you get. You can do this with just hook in here. So that's one way of using reflex points. So you can strike at the bottom of the knees, which is not really going to do much good apart from breaking them. But then what you can do is you can, if you find yourself here, just in them points here, and the body will automatically go over. But on another angle, you get reflex points, where I've said before, where we get areas that the body doesn't want to have touched. The groin, the neck, the eyes, just below the knee. These sort of places do not want to be touched. So as you come in for a finger, yeah, it doesn't want it. Then again for a face, yeah, this is not what's good. And then again, even the opposite hand shakes that. But the worst ones, of course, are yeah, they don't want that. Look at the gates that opens, yeah. In that sense, so come again. And then the all-time classic underneath the knee. That creates that, yeah. Again. So, what you need to do is you need to work at all the areas where the body's weak, and whenever they move, you need to find these spaces like this. Nobody wants to be hit like this. They do, and you'll find you don't have to touch them to make their body change and thingy. Then, yep, it will not work. Number 37, negative space. What people do in combat is they automatically look at the figure there and they see the outline of the man and that's what they want to fight. But what you should do in reality is black out the background and put them entirely in white. You should concentrate on the background. What this does is it shows you where you can move around the opponent and get into their space. So a simple way to start this exercise is Kevin, can you step up? What I'm going to do is Kevin's just going to walk, he's going to not think I exist, he's going to walk across and I've got to get through where the space exists between his arm and his legs. So as he comes in, I've got to find that space there. So we've got to try and find, instead of looking at Mike, I've got to look behind him and find a way through. And the next one comes on, and I've got to look find our way through Nick. And in that sense, then come at me, Nick. So, now, what we do in a martial arts point of view, is I now have him here, instead of thinking, oh, you know, how am I going to get through? I realise this entire space behind him exists. So what I can do is find through. Yeah? We won't throw you over that, Nick. I'll probably kill him. Right? So, what you've got to do, first of all, you've got to manipulate the person, then you disappear into these points, and you can work behind them. Yeah? Stop this, here he comes down. Up we get, next one. So, I've got to find, no matter what we're at, I've got to create some negative space. So what I do is I slip through these points, and here, and this is where I can move through to his other side. Right? So instead of me seeing this mass, I just come here. These are the points I want. Yeah? These are the points I like. So as you fight, turn it into a three-dimensional thing, and you're coming round. And I can control, like, go over and through this space. Yeah. So you can also go above them. You can see above them. He's coming up. You can go round the back. See, there's the negative space. There. Again, inside of here, I'm through in this point. I can, there. I've got to find, and I can walk through him. And so, the reality of this is it actually gives you the perception that he's not a big man now, it's not something in your way, it's something you can bypass, go around and attack from behind, or find your way into different things. Okay, chapter 38. Now this is three-dimensional movement. Again, this comes from taking away the linear form, and it also comes from the last chapter we did. So what you've got to do is learn that you can move three-dimensionally in all this open space. So as Mike comes in, no matter what he does, now instead of moving this linear way, I can move, I've got all this space to come out in this way, and I can push here. So instead of leaving it linear, we can come in if this comes, and then what I do is I move in three-dimensional space anywhere I want, like this. And I realise that, boom, this, and I can go over here, and I can follow him, and we can move. I can come off. Yeah, fighting is not so. Here we go. Now I have him at this point. I'm stuck, so I move around this space. And I can use, so come at me, Mike. Yeah, I can, yeah, there is three-dimensional areas that I can, yeah, it is. I'm in this space. Yeah, boom. Chapter 39. Now we always have the concept of earthing. Now, what I mean by earthing is you get the old little master and he stands there and 20 people try and push him out of the way. Now, what this is in reality is he lowers his centre of gravity lower than everyone else. Takes a tripedal stance so you cannot push him over. Yeah? Now the only thing that will push you over is either you'll slip from the mat or your hands will not get a grip enough on this. So if I get, can you get Mike on there? If you notice, what happens is if they lower their stance below mine, I will go back. So at the minute, keep your stance higher than mine, yeah? And we'll show how it goes. Come closer down here. Right? So what I do is I lower, I go lower than him, I relax, I push this here, then go against it, Mike. Yep, just take a constant now, Kev. Yep, so push on it, then nick if you want. Yep. Yeah, the only thing that's going to go is, you can feel it slipping, but that's the only, nick. Yep, and then what you do is you can keep the, I can feel it slipping off me then. However, that's okay, the point is this exercise is not to hold off 20 men, but go back on it, guys. Go back on it, yeah. The point is that I can now comfortably hold these people, and then what happens is lower your stance, gents, lower your stance, now push. Okay, so what people don't realise is, it all seems mystical, but it's not. It's literally a transfer of energy on a downward slope into your back ankle, so it can't go anywhere else. Now, how do we use that in a combat form? You simply, what you are doing is creating a structured stance that they cannot move. So, as somebody comes to hit, you have to, this is what they're going against, Kevin. So, you've got to, this, or, as that comes, slow it down, here. If you structure stance against someone running, so slow down but running at me. So he's slowing down running. Poof. Imagine that force of him going against his own neck. He'd probably snap his own neck, and that's him gone. But that's the reality of earthing. It's not to stand there and have 20 people, that's a practice. The reality is, in the middle of combat, triangle, stance, and transfer of energy onto your fist, or onto a knife, onto a sword blade, spear blade, any of that, so they come at you, oh, gone. Okay.